Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is Tiberious, and today we are going to take a look at this Holosun HS407C version 2. Let's go. As you can see, I put my Holosun red dot on my VP9. I am a very big fan of the VP9 series of pistols. I pretty much carry and shoot one of these two pistols, I'd say 90% of the time. I do sprinkle in my P10C once in a while, but these are the guns that I prefer. I'm going to do this review a little bit different than most. I'm here to give you just a quick first impressions video because this is a new red dot, so I want to get out a video about the features and the specs in case anybody is wondering. Then several months later, probably in the summer, once I get several thousand rounds on the red dot, I'll come back and give you my impressions then. But let's dive up close. We'll go over some of the unique features because this red dot has quite a few. So this red dot from Holosun has a 2 MOA dot, which I think is just about perfect for a pistol red dot. You know, anywhere 2-3 MOA seems to be the sweet spot for me. The battery life is 50,000 hours, which is solid, but that's on level 6. I tend to use level 8, 9, 10 in that area, depending how bright it is, but still a very good battery life. With the battery, there is a pro and there's a con. Well, there's a couple pros. The big pro is going to be the battery life. 50,000 hours is great. Another one is that you can replace the battery without taking the red dot off of the pistol or the rifle. The RMR and the older version and quite a few pistol red dots, you have to take the optic off, which is kind of a pain. With this one, this is the battery tray right here. You just take the battery tray out, replace the battery, and you're good to go. It takes a 1632 battery, which is definitely, you can definitely find them. It's not as common as the 2032 battery that this used to take, the old version of it. So there's the con. You lose some battery life. The old one was 100,000 hours and this is 50,000 hours. So don't get me wrong, 50,000 hours is still like 5 years, so your battery lasts forever. And any defensive red dot, I just change the battery once a year anyway, so not a huge deal for me. But, you know, pros and cons with everything. Your brightness setting on the other side of the red dot is right here. The buttons are great. They're perfect size, super tactile. Holosun did a great job with the buttons. The older version of this had 2 really small buttons that were very difficult to push, and I like these buttons a lot better. There is 12 brightness settings, and even 2 of them being night vision compatible. Who knows, maybe I'll be able to borrow somebody's nods and test that out. Like a lot of Holosun red dots, if not all of them, they have the shake awake technology. So after a couple minutes, the dot's going to turn off. The second it senses any movement at all, turns back on, which is a great thing to preserve your battery life. It also has the solar failsafe, or the solar panel on top, as you see here. The way that works is kind of like a backup. The solar panel will charge some supercapacitors inside the dot, and then if need to, those supercapacitors can supply power to run the dot. I've actually taken the battery out of some of these dots and just run it on solar, and when you're outside, as long as it has some sun, and the red dots still work without the battery for a while. One of the best features that Holosun did is it's the same footprint as the RMR. So if you want to put this on a mount on a rifle of some sort, or you want to get your slide milled, it's the same exact footprint as the RMR, same cutout, which is very smart because the RMR has been out for a while and it's kind of the most popular with mounts and milling and cutouts. My last thought is about Holosun as a brand. You know, Holosun years ago was definitely a low-end budget optic, and over the years they have come a long way. Don't just take my word for it. Sage Dynamics has done a bunch of reviews where he beat the snot, I mean really beat the snot out of these red dots, way more than normal use. And they've all held up really well, and I'm super impressed with them. To the point now where I think this is like my 5th Holosun review, more than any other brand on the channel, and they're just, they give you a very good value for your money. By no means are they junk, by no means are they the most expensive, but they're super good quality, they're super reliable, and they give it to you for a great price. Anyway, that's the summary of the red dot. Let's go roll in some range footage, and we'll come back for final thoughts. So after a very quick sight-in process, we started slaying some steel. We put a couple hundred rounds, maybe 150, 200 rounds through the red dot the first day here at the range, and that's when the big quarantine set in. And as you can see, we had to switch it to the indoor range. Unfortunately, the FUDs that run my gun club were afraid and voluntarily closed the club. So luckily, we have some great indoor ranges like the Elite Indoor Gun Range you see me shooting at here, where I was able to put a couple hundred more rounds through the red dot for a total of just under 400. I think it was like 405, 410, somewhere in that area. My opinion hasn't really changed of the red dot. I think so far so good. It has been excellent with no issues. Pros, the biggest pro is going to be the price. RMR is the king of pistol mounted red dots, but Holosun is making a huge push to take away that title, and the value you get for your money, it is very, very tough to argue. The side battery compartment is great. New and improved buttons are fantastic. The battery life is off the charts at somewhere around 5 years. I don't really have any cons. Maybe the adjustments, the windage and elevation adjustments, they are very, very hard to turn without a screwdriver or the tool that it is included. But that's really it for cons, and that's being pretty nitpicky. Usually once you have your dots sighted in, you're not changing it anyway. Again, I'm going to continue shooting this throughout the spring, throughout the summer, once the FUDs reopen up my gun range. And I'll report back once I have a couple thousand rounds and a little bit more of a realistic, real-world beat down of this optic. I definitely plan on taking it to a couple classes once we're allowed to do that as well. But so far, so good. We will see what the future holds. As always, thank you very much for watching my review. It is truly, truly appreciated. If you think I deserve it, go ahead and click that like button. While you're at it, go ahead and click subscribe. This way you get notified when we come out with new videos. I'll see y'all next time. Peace!